I'd like to talk a little bit about the needs for the standards. As the Truck Training School Association, I think it's important that we understand the need. Accidents happen. And you know what? It's not always the driver's fault, but was the driver, the question that always rises in people's head was the driver properly trained? Today's Canada fleets pour over thousands of job applications every year, but a mere 35% of those candidates are identified as qualified. To compound matters, over 44% of the terminated drivers lost their jobs because they were poorly qualified, and another 32% were terminated because of poor driving records. As I look around the room and I see recruiters and companies, I think of obviously a large day to fit in every day when you look at trying to look at all the applications and the requirements of that. So, what's important here is that we consider who is qualified. One of the issues that we come across is that, when we think of qualified, what do we think of? Well, we think of individuals that have good foundations. And a commercial driver, is required to look at 29 disciplines if we're considering the new NOS code as the standard of operation for an individual to be driving a truck. I think it changes the relationship that we have with our students, especially when they walk in and they say, all I want is a license. Now it's like, okay, great, but are you capable to actually master the tasks that are required of you as being in the profession? So many of our major fleets, our smaller companies and the insurance providers are considering the Truck Training School Association of Ontario certificates as the standard. It's understood that the DCP program runs independently of our program. Our program is addressed to public coming in to see us. DCP program, driver certification program, is for companies, and they have different guidelines. So when we think of standard, well, we think of it something that is authority or general a concept and proved model. But we have been working very hard with our friends over at the ministry training colleges and universities on a standard, and we have a standard in place. It was developed by the authority, and it's an approved model that serves to measure excellence and best practices in the industry. A little bit about what the TTSAO standards does look like. In our world, it's 50 hours of in-cab instruction, one-on-one. It's 30 hours of pre-trip inspection, coupling, practice in the yard. And we've devoted backing time in order to master tasks. Obviously, backing is an important discipline for any company driver. It includes, obviously, an air brake training specific to what we are 12 hours of MTO specific training. We include things like commercial driver improvement courses, and again, look out to other organizations that have reviewed the material for over 50 years. Natural Resources Canada is a big part of our program as well. Fuel economy, these are things that are important to companies as well as to the training. Things that we do on the side, of course, is I call it introduction to trucking, but it's really laws and regulations. I mean, it's great to sit down and explain to new drivers Highway Traffic Act, especially when you come from an insurance background and understand the word legalese. Load securement, logbooks, trip planning, clear language dangerous goods, vehicle inspections, and border crossing. These are an overview. These are not that we're spending weeks, we are spending days. The idea is to give a driver a perspective of the occupation that he is reaching out to, and to give him a groundwork for best practices in order to succeed at an occupation he wishes to pursue. With that in mind, we often invite many of the carriers that are here today into the locations to actually recruit from our locations so that they can have a first-hand experience of what it's like to be a driver for a company. Our standard, of course, is the 200-hour training standard, and it gives an orientation to the industry. So, what are we waiting for? I've often sat down, and one of the studies I always like to share is the minorinminor.ca study. And he summarizes as the great Canadian skills mismatch. People without jobs, jobs without people, and more. The study also states that the skilled labor shortage clearly indicates that we need a higher level skill to meet future labor market demands. That does not exist today. This has given me a goal to take and utilize my little petri dish called Ontario Truck Training Academy just to basically see it become part of the larger Truck Training School Association of Ontario. We have many good schools in the association that feel the same way and have pushed to look at the standards on how to create a better driver. So when we look forward, in order to ensure safe roads and to continue to protect transportation industry's reputation, it's clear to everyone present here today that there is a need for standards. And as the standards are being reviewed, I just ask one question. Do we want more people with a license, independently trained and attending less than 200 hours of training? Or do we want more qualified, TTS certified drivers? Thank you.